go through a little faster than that. And end up with more like 15 hearts. I probably, well, I might get bigger on sword, or I might not. We'll see. But yeah, I'm allotting 2 weeks for that, and that's our 6.5 weeks. Once again, to recap, it'll be 1 week for Ratchet and Clank, Tools of Destruction, 1 for God of War 1, 1 for God of War 2, 1 for Modern Warfare 2 campaign, 1 for Training Marvel vs. Capcom 2, or I mean half for Training Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and 2 for Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. So that's our 6.5 weeks. Further down on the list we have Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Arcade, Ninja Gaiden 2. Well, like this, see the reason I bumped up Ocarina of Time basically is after Ratchet and Clank, it's God of War 1, God of War 2, Modern Warfare 2, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which are all kind of on the hardcore side of things. And I'm really going to I'm really gonna need a more casual, lighter kind of game like Zelda. After all of that. So that's why I moved that up instead of worrying about finishing Ninja Gaiden 2. And, well, you can read the rest of the list. And then, so, that is that. There's of course going to be Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer and Fat Princess multiplayer online throughout those 6.5 weeks. Otherwise, these things that I say take, that I'm allotting a week for, they could only take like 3 or 4 days. But there'll be multiplayer stuff in there. And like I mentioned earlier, there'll be game demo stuff. Like God of War 3 demo, if that is indeed on the God of War 1 and 2 collector's thing or whatever. And other demos, probably more on the PS3 side, since I'm trying to find a multiplayer, like same console multiplayer game. Yeah, I guess that's it. That's our 6.5 weeks until Final Fantasy XIII, and no idea how long Final Fantasy XIII is going to take me. That could take me like a month, for all I know. So I'm not going to try to plan past that. So yeah, from there we'll see. How long did I talk here? 34 minutes. 4 videos. Lovely. Oh, one last announcement before I go. I am no longer going to respond to like messages on here on the Xbox Live thing. These ones where people are like, oh, how do you do this, or whatever. I'm stuck in Darksiders and the Hollows with that train puzzle, and I'm not going to respond to those. I'm not going to respond to YouTube PMs about any similar kind of questions. If you got a question on something like that, put it in an appropriate video. And if you have a more general kind of question, put it in a channel comment, because first of all, when I answer the same question multiple times, it's like a waste of time for me. If it had been in a public kind of question, like in a video or channel comment, then basically someone else could answer it for me, which makes things a lot more convenient for me if I don't have to answer like a dozen questions each day. Or B, I'll have already answered their question and they'll see that answer and like not have to ask it. Like, people keep asking also, Darksiders, how do you come flying out super high, jumping out super high out of the portal things or whatever? The answer to that, if you don't know, is you hold the trigger to charge up the portal shot and you come out faster. It's not physics based like the Valve's Portal game. It's based on how much you charge it. You don't like jump into the portal from like 10 stories up or anything like that. Just charge it up. So that is... So yeah. And of course, some people will ask it in like video 105, and some people ask it in like video 102, and some people ask it in video, I don't know, like 110. I'm kind of making up numbers at this point. I know 105, 102, that's Black Citadel stuff. I don't remember if 110 is still there. I mean, not Black Citadel, Black Throne. So there will still be some repeated asking there. But yeah, don't PM me about stuff like that. Because that's annoying. So, yeah. I am gonna watch some TV right now. And then tomorrow I'll get to work on that, whatchamacallit, Ratchet and Clank.